Let's have no one do that again.
What the fuck? So, they're making another Animal Farm movie. Animal Farm has to be one of my most favorite books of all time. It's just long enough. It's a really unique concept of all the animals being representative of real life people and historical events. And the author George Orwell molds the book in such a unique way. It's so cool to see all the real life events of the Soviet Union get played out in this farm-like setting. But sadly, nothing that's good ever lasts forever, as we now have this Animal Farm trailer.
Huh? What? We're shopping!
This has got to be one of the worst adaptations I've ever seen in my life. I guarantee you the directors of this film just saw the words Animal Farm on the book and they just thought kids movie. The overall tone of Animal Farm is pretty gritty and sometimes very dark, so I highly doubt anyone that's actually a fan of Animal Farm will enjoy watching this. Second, Seth Rogen as Napoleon is really fucking funny.
That sounds awesome. I love to laugh.
But I also feel like it's going to take away like the seriousness of his character and what he represents. Napoleon is quite literally the representation of Stalin in pig form, so I feel like Seth Rogen in that role is going to make people who watch this movie not take Napoleon seriously at all.
Deliciousness! They want this!
Third, they introduce a bunch of characters which I cannot imagine will add to the story at all. Like, who the fuck is this?
Pigs and humans working together. I like the optics.
Oh, you were supposed to be a hero, Brian.
I'm thinking I like that name.
And the part that just fucks me over, dude, this scene right here.
All animals are equal, but some are more equal than others.
Say what?
Such an amazing, powerful, and iconic quote just ruined by this film because they decided to represent it as a joke, which just kind of shows how the rest of this film is supposed to be taken as just a joke. One thing I noticed that was kind of weird is that there's a scene in the trailer where humans are just walking to the animal farm to buy stuff. This goes against many of the principles that were shown in the book. The animals did all the work on the farm themselves, and the only time they ever sold stuff was with a pile of timber to Mr. Pilkington and the other guy, if they believe his name is Frederick. The only human in the book that ever stepped foot on Animal Farm that was allowed to was Mr. Whimper, and he acted purely as an ambassador for the animals, and he barely had any role in the farm at all. So it's kind of weird that they added a scene where they show them selling stuff to humans when that's literally what they would have never done in the book. You can make the argument that they're trying to fit in the whole, oh, Napoleon's going back on everything that made Animal Farm theme of the book, but that doesn't fit, and here's why. In the book, Napoleon only really hired Mr. Whimper because the farm needed resources that they couldn't produce. So in a way, they were kind of forced just to interact with the humans just so they could get what they want. In this scene, however, you can very clearly see that they're selling stuff to humans, which means not only are they producing enough goods to have an entire market, but they're also willing just to straight up sell the humans. From what I've seen in the trailer, it seems like they kind of have like a parasocial relationship with the humans because, they're inviting them into their market and they're, talking to that one white-haired lady, which misses the entire point of Animal Farm. The animals of Animal Farm wanted to prove to the other humans who ran the neighboring farms that they could just run a farm that didn't need any human involvement whatsoever. It was a key detail constantly mentioned in the book that the other farms felt threatened by the fact that Animal Farm was doing well enough to survive. But here it just seems like everyone's just kind of just cool with Animal Farm. They don't really care about it. I also didn't really see any character that would represent Mr. Jones in this trailer, which has me a bit worried because, when Mr. Jones tries to retake Manor Farm, it's supposed to be representative, which is representative of the Russian Civil War. I totally didn't just look that up just now. Since the humans are clearly fine with the animals in this, I highly doubt that they're even going to be able to fit the Battle of the Cowshed into this movie, which kind of worries me because fighting off the humans is kind of a lot of the characters' motivations for doing literally anything in the book. I also feel like they're doing the whole pigs become exactly like humans plot point way too early in the movie. Judging off the trailer alone, they introduce that white-haired lady as soon as the pigs move into the farmhouse, which is very early into the book. And when the pigs meet with her and start doing whatever deal they're making, they're already like standing up tall and sitting in chairs and wearing clothes. It feels like they're rushing through a lot of the beginning of Animal Farm so they can get to the more iconic moments, which are near the end and the middle parts of the section of the book. The pigs standing up on their two hind feet was an extremely important plot twist that was heart-dropping to those who read the book. It really cemented the fact that the pigs were far too corrupt and they have become exactly like the humans they fought to get rid of in the first place. So the fact that it seems like they're already just standing up on their legs and already wearing clothes just kind of feels like this movie's going to be a bit rushed. Also, since they're driving Lamborghinis and like crashing them into pools, it seems like they're like, I feel like there's just no stakes at all that are going to be involved in this film. A big plot point in the book of Animal Farm is the windmill. The animals don't have any access to electricity, so they want to build a windmill so that way they could get like heated stalls and just basically all this other stuff that humans would be able to do. But the windmill itself is very controversial. Snowball and Napoleon argue over it a lot. Jones and Frederick's men constantly try to blow it up, which sometimes succeeds. And after it's done and actually starts providing results, Napoleon claims it as his own even though he's originally against it. Not only does it show how dire the stakes are for the animals, but also just kind of shows more of Napoleon's corrupt nature as well as the rest of the pigs. But in this trailer, they're just crashing Lamborghinis into pools. So this deal that they made with the white-haired lady just like improved their technology status by a whole amount. So I feel like this movie's just gonna be very boring because it's just like, well, they kind of just have everything now. What's the point? How are we supposed to feel bad for the animals and the oppression they're facing if they're constantly living in a society with advanced technology? I'm surprised they even show the 10 Commandments being written on the wall of paint when literally Napoleon says the famous "all animals are equal" line. He has this giant like billboard presenting stage, which also, by the way, it wasn't even Napoleon who even said this line. This line came from Squealer when he repainted all 10 of the commandments just to say that line. It honestly just makes you question if the people who are making this movie even read the book. I also didn't see any horses that could represent Clover or Molly in this trailer, which I mean I guess is fine because they weren't in any of the other actually no, Clover was in the live action version, but the animated 1954 film, which was funded by the CIA, by the way, they didn't really include Clover or Molly in those films. But like, come on, man, you guys clearly have the budget to animate all the characters in. You hired all these big time actors, and you also introduced new characters. At least add every character from the book inside of this movie. There are plenty of more things that I could say about this trailer that I dislike, but honestly, I don't really want to ramble on for too long. Just by watching the trailer and then finding out what Animal Farm is actually about, you'd be able to understand why people like me are upset about this trailer. My word of advice for this trailer is 1, actually read Animal Farm, please. It's a really good book, please just read it. 2nd, you should listen to the author George Orwell's request to not have his book Animal Farm be put in the kids section of the library, because what you're doing right now is creating an incredibly cheesy kids film. And next, when you're finding an actor that's supposed to be the representation of Joseph fucking Stalin, maybe you shouldn't hire Seth Rogen.
Cock-a-doodle!
Son of a fucking bitch!